Hello, welcome back to my channel. So, you guys read the title. And so, the reason I'm doing this video is because I still keep getting questions. Are you going to do a next pageant? Are you going to do this pageant? When are you going to do this pageant? Please go up for this pageant. I'm like, y'all, please. I appreciate it, first of all, because for me, repping my country meant so much to me. It's actually what kept me going through a lot of the trials and tribulations I was dealing with behind closed doors that people don't know the truth about. And I've been very purposeful in being the bigger person, and it actually hindered me in an emotional way because I just couldn't tell my truth, because the treatment I experienced and the things I experienced, quite honestly, it's not okay, and as I slowly started speaking about it, I'm still trying to not directly call this person out, but what was happening is when I stepped away from the pageant space, I started feeling really guilty because I'm like, there are all these incredible, beautiful young women who are going to go up for this position. And I'm scared that what they're going to deal with will be like what I experienced or even worse. And as a mental health advocate, I cannot knowingly misguide young women into these positions. And that's why I started to speak up. So for me, why I will never go back into the pageant space. Again, this is just my experience. This is just what I experienced. I'm not going to completely speak bad on the entire industry, although I've heard many different stories from many different women throughout the years who have dealt with some very traumatic things, who have reached out to me while I've been openly speaking about this and sharing their experiences and thanking me for speaking about it because they feel like they weren't able to be heard respectfully. So it meant a lot to me to get those messages because I'm like, wow, okay, this is reassuring me that I'm doing the right thing. Because the fact that so many women go through such horrible things behind the scenes and it's not said is not right. So that's why I'm speaking up. Anyway, so I where do I start? The space, I guess, can be used to empower women, but the way that it's being used by many people in the industry right now, it's not empowering women. I should not be leaving as a shell of myself. I should not be leaving from the experience feeling financially drained, emotionally drained, mentally drained. If this is a space, the tagline is always used to empower women or to, it's a developmental program, right? Why are we coming out feeling destroyed, feeling less than, feeling broken, feeling unsure of myself? I won't get into too many specifics. I don't know if eventually I will tell you guys all the specifics of everything I've been through while I represented the country for over a year and a half. Firstly, it was supposed to be 5 months, and then it turned into a year and a half. I believe 18 months. I can't do the math right now. I'll do the math. I might pop it in here. But that in itself, I thought, okay, 5 months, I could deal with this. For a year and a half plus, y'all, I was destroyed. And I'm not going to cry in this video because I don't want to feed into this narrative that people only believe women when we cry on camera. I've cried enough off camera. I went through a lot. I had to pay for therapy. I'm still going through therapy right now. And I've never, guys, I'm a strong person. I've literally been severely depressed. I've had anxiety through the roof. I've been to the point of suicidal ideation in my life when I was younger. But that year and a half plus was probably the toughest time period I've ever had in my life. And that says enough. That says more than enough. For me to say that, anyone who's been through severe depression to the point of suicidal ideation, you all know how hard it is. What made this period harder was the fact that I had to publicly smile while dealing with things behind closed doors, right? because it's part of the job description. We're smiling on stage. Everything's happy and perfect and go lucky. Meanwhile, there are things happening as soon as you get off the stage. You're being told this, you're being told that, you're being told you're never good enough. You don't work a day in your life. Y'all, for the people who followed my journey in this position, the amount of people that literally come up to me, they're like, do you rest? We see you everywhere doing everything. And it's because I genuinely was giving 110% into this experience for my country, for myself. I felt the hope. I felt the encouragement of my country. I felt the love. I felt the pressure too. But I always say pressure is a privilege. And I said I wanted to do this for TNT. I wanted to give my heart and soul, and that's exactly what I did. So to have somebody continuously gaslight you and say, you don't do anything, you don't work a day in your life, you've never worked a day in your life. It started like the amount of different situations, it just, my brain, I went back into my depression, y'all. And as a mental health advocate, I should not be having to literally advocate for mental health while somebody is actively destroying my mental health. That's not ethical. Oh, I need to calm down. It's not ethical. And the reason I'm so upset about it is because I don't know if I said that correctly. I feel like my thoughts are rambling now. But I was literally praying when the next cohort of young women applied for the following year. I was praying for their safety, mentally, emotionally, whoever won. As soon as somebody won, I reached out. I just offered my support. I made them know I'm there. If you ever need to say anything and you're afraid to say anything to anybody outside, just know I've been through this experience, and I'm not saying to expect I didn't push any expectations of my experience onto her. I just wanted to remind her that I am here if you need me. And I tried my best to be there actively to support her while trying to keep my distance from the person who literally damaged me. So it was a very weird predicament, but I kept praying about it because I'm like, you know what? I want to support, I want to be there for this next young woman, for our country and for her dreams, and for to really just be, I believe in sisterhood. But it was so hard because I'm like, I don't want to be around this person. So I literally had to just do it by phone because I'm like, I can't mentally betray myself again. This is self-abandonment if I force myself to be in this space that quite literally destroyed my mental health. Like, and what, I can't agree with it, especially the fact that you are profiting off my hard work, off me, but yet telling me that I'm not enough and everything about me is wrong. You know, I am a big fan of constructive criticism. Like I said, I have thick skin. I do, because I've dealt with a lot of different things. But gaslighting me to think that because I'm asking to stand up for myself, I'm too emotional or I'm weak, and then blaming it on my mental health is unethical. There's no argument there, because your opinion cannot be backed by my mental health history to excuse whatever you want to say. That's not right. Guys, I don't want to get into all the details of what was said, when, how, whatever. All I'll say is I asked for help. My mental health was taking a toll. I asked my parents. My parents stepped in many times because they were like, why is she talking to you like that? Why is this? They literally were like, in the beginning, were like, no, we need to have a call because this is actually not okay. Why are you talking to my child like this? This is insane, right? And then that happened twice or 3 times, I can't remember, until the point that she convinced her entire committee that it was wrong for me to ask for somebody to stand up for me. So then what happened then is it was one room, me, my mom, and somebody representing me. And everyone in that room, not everyone, some people didn't speak up, but the silence spoke for itself. The narrative was painted that I'm difficult, I'm this. How dare, someone even said, how dare you ask her, tell her how to run her franchise. Woman, lady, right? Because it's sad that you're actually a woman and you stood by and let this happen. I'm not going to say your name, but if the shoe fits, wear it. It is sad that you stood by and justified her wanting to literally tear me apart mentally, emotionally, spiritually, pick me apart, gossip, lie, slander, put me in uncomfortable situations, put women against me that were competing with me, all different things. And you want to blame the victim. And again, I don't use that word lightly. I was the victim in that situation. And you stood up for her. So it says a lot about you. So how about you? Don't say anything, right? That in itself was traumatic, because I'm being told that me standing up and asking for help, these multiple people were literally saying, no, that's just how she is. That's just how she is. That's just how she is. That's not okay. It doesn't matter if that's how she is. It's not how she should be acting in a position to nurture young women, empower young women, and lead them to represent a country. I went to represent our country completely broken. I'm not going to cry because you don't deserve my tears. I went completely broken. My anxiety was through the roof. I was in and out of depression while having to literally carry the flag of a nation. Do you know how, it's hard. You're already under pressure. The least people in this position can do is make life easier for young women to just be like, I feel confident. I know I can do this for my country. Why are you destroying women? It just shows that it's not about women empowerment. It's control. At least in this situation, it was control. You wanted to break me down so that you could say you rebuilt me. You broke me down. I'll give you that. Take your win, because I know you're happy and smiling to know that it won. You won for that chapter in my life. But I rebuilt myself much stronger. And that's why I'm speaking about this. And I don't care. If it means I lose the title, if it means I lose whatever, I don't care. I'm standing up for young women, right? I'm standing up so that nobody has to go through this again. I cannot speak for other pageants. This is just my experience. All I want to say is have some grace and empathy for the women who are putting themselves in these positions to represent your countries, because it's easy, for example, in my situation, I was anxiety through the roof. Question came, I got nervous. I forgot the words, okay? But guess what? It's because I already went with the mindset of everything that was said to me. You're not enough. You're this. You're a liar. You said this. Your trauma is not real. Your body is a shame to the establishment that is sponsoring us. I can see the fat in your face. All kinds of unnecessary. I'm genuinely disgusted. So it's hard enough when you go through that and then you go internationally to compete and you are a shell of yourself and you make some mistakes, or you overanalyze, or you are not as confident because you're already fighting to just be, okay? What makes it worse is then being told, oh, you messed up here, by people that don't even know the story. Yes, I tried my best. With the confidence that I had at that point. All I wanted to do, all that kept me going, literally, was I kept saying, I want to do this for my country. I want to do this for Trinidad and Tobago. I want to do this for us. That's what kept me going. Every time I gave up, every time I even resigned. I resigned because there was one incident that I couldn't take it. I literally called my mom, and my mom is a confident woman who, she's like, do not let this world or any wicked people take anything away from you. Keep going, keep pushing, keep trying. So every time I complained about the abuse, because it is abuse, the emotional and mental abuse that was happening, she kept encouraging me. She's like, Ashay, remember you want to do this for TNT. Remember, this is bigger than you. Remember, you say you want to inspire the girls. This is what it was about. So it kept me going. But that one incident, I was like, I cannot. And I called her because I left this woman's office. I went in my car, eyes literally crying my eyes out. I remember it was raining and I couldn't see because my eyes were full of tears and there's rain, and I was stressed. I called my mom and I couldn't keep it in anymore. And I said, Mom, I can't do it anymore. And I told her everything that happened. And that was the first time my mom said, Ashley, you know, I tell you this all the time. Do not let anybody stop you from achieving your goals and your dreams. But I need you to resign. I need you to leave this position because it's not mentally healthy for you. And it's clear that this person just doesn't like you and is trying to really get in your head. And it's happening. So as your mom, I tell you it's okay to walk away from this one. And it took some time. And I stepped away. I took my power back. And I said, you know what? A few more months. I can't give up now. I'm going to do this for TNT. And I did my best. That's all I can say. I did my best. And my best was my best at that time. What's heartbreaking is I could have probably done better if I had the right support. And that's what I don't want any young woman to have, is the regrets of not being in the right space mentally because of external voices trying to destroy her, lying to her about who she is, and gaslighting her and destroying her, mentally manipulating her. And I just don't want any other woman to go through this. So that's my truth. That's my experience. And to answer your questions, without getting into all the specifics, that's why I will never, ever, ever do another pageant. So I'm sorry to disappoint anybody, because I know you guys still ask me, are you going to do this pageant? Are you going to do it? I'm not. And it's not, I don't know how they work. Maybe they're completely different. I don't know. But from my experience, I left as a shell of myself, completely in debt financially, having to support myself for a year and however long, year and a half plus. I left feeling less confident. I had to rebuild myself and literally invest in my health and mental health. If this is a developmental program and about women empowerment, I should not be leaving feeling less than and feeling disempowered. So, thanks for watching this. And yeah. This is not, I had to make peace with telling my truth about the situation, because I felt like me speaking my truth and standing up for myself was being messy or beefing. I'm not beefing anyone. I've made peace. I've prayed for these people. But what makes it worse is them literally doing a smear campaign, certain individuals doing a smear campaign on me. After all the hardship they've already put me through, they wanted to add the cherry on top by completely slandering and defaming my character, which again was another mental toll. And I'll be honest, it made me a stronger person. So I believe everything happens for a reason, and God put me here to speak the truth, and that's what I'm doing now. So be it.